Can we make a huge round of applause for our panelists for this session? Over to you, our panelists. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's, at times a dilemma. I was waiting for the last half an hour outside, and then I didn't realize that the panel discussion has started. So I welcome each one of you here, and also good to see, still bright faces after 3 hours of listening to lectures and discussions. Hopefully we'll be curt, brief, and share our experience rather than academic knowledge. Okay, great. So for decades, higher education institutions and universities have been just talking about degrees. We have been talking about academic knowledge, but now is the time where we are talking about, lifelong learning. We are talking about capability learning. And rather than, the credit system, the old examination system, we are talking about outcomes. We are talking about how exactly our graduates are prepared right on first day for the job. So with these opening remarks, I would, ask Dr. Gadde, Picheswar Gadde, all of us these days are worried about AI. We say that AI would be taking most of the jobs, and especially the entry-level jobs. What are the 3 skills, what you would recommend that any higher education institution should build and ensure that the AI does not affect any of our immediate graduation jobs?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Picheswar Gadde, the Chancellor of Lingaya's Vidyapeeth. It's a very valid question, and AI has really changed the total scenario of the world. And the most important is that how to train our students to make them sellable in the market when the AI is totally overpowering, over-dominating everything. You will be shocked to know, I was just going through some research, the students who are doing graduation, especially from India, you will be surprised, very comfortably, and they are AI expert, out of them is just 3%, which is very sad. 3% people are only who can understand AI, who can work on AI. What is my suggestion is, until unless we totally change our curriculum, mostly on such a way that practical oriented to be increases in such a way, so that tomorrow when they go for industry, the things they will be able to adopt very easily. Sometimes we feel very shocked. If we calculate Indians' population, 11% Indians are senior citizens, 68% people are from 14 to 64 who are working, and 24% people are less than 14 years. So these 68%, even though 50% of India is internet savvy, I'm not saying that, but 68%, these people, until unless they develop AI knowledge, I think India won't be able to. Digital India and all, there's a lot of government projects, government schemes which are coming and going on. We have to reduce the distance between industry and the education sector to really take this challenge of AI. So I feel that more of AI, which has been really given by industry to education institution, will help to develop all this. That's written.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, but my question was also that, 3 capabilities which you think that higher education should focus, which AI cannot replace or substitute. So
3 capabilities. One is practical oriented training, very practical. A student, because if you ask me very frankly, you feel very happy that AI is coming, but AI is dangerous also. These young students, they start depending on AI, their own creativity is going back. Now coming generations, you won't be. So you have to create a more practical oriented, hands-on tool, which is very important. So that not only the AI they should depend, they should do on their own also. That's one. Second, ethically use of AI. Until unless these coming generation, they are not going to learn ethical generation, it will be totally disaster for the world. And third, very important, AI, we have to make the student or make the children to learn please use AI only in case if you require as support. Don't be a slave of that. This is the third position which is very important. Example, if I don't like anything, I can ask AI. But if I am good in something, let me do it on my own. This is what we have to give indirect teaching to the students. That's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So my question now is to our second panelist on the left. Traditionally, we have been just awarding degrees, and we have been recently talking about value-added courses, micro-certifications. So are degrees still good enough to give you employment, or these micro-certificates are essential, or you feel that, it's just a gimmick, or it's just a jargon, another that, okay, you have these value-added certificates to your degree and then you'll be more employable, or are they really making a difference?
Thank you very much. I'm Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, Vice Chancellor, Central University of Haryana. It's a government university. Yeah, as you said, the value-added courses are the added courses, are the micro-credentials. All these things are important, right? But, the degrees has its own value. Micro-credential courses may fetch you a job immediately in the market. But, when those things goes away, then you are handicapped, right? So if you have to really see that, you have to have whole life. So then you have to really be lifelong learner. So that lifelong learner concept, which you have in maybe in 3-year or 4-year degrees, where you have the knowledge of various aspects of the life, as well as the various techniques which could be available in future, are basic of those. So when you are essentially in the market, then new things will keep on coming. You have to have a capacity of learning those things at those times. But if you just have those, I say the micro-credential learning or those value-added some courses, those can immediately fetch you a job, then later on you will be in the loss. So I still see that we have to have the degrees, but these degrees should have all these additions as through the whether it is you call it a micro credential or EdTech courses or the Swayam Plus courses, which are being run by the industry. So industries should come closer to the universities or the colleges, where they can also impart some education which is more relevant to immediately to our students. So that's what I feel is.
Thank you so much. In fact, this arises, or this gives me a lead to the next question to my third panelist here. We have been talking about industry-academic partnership for so long, but we haven't seen too many successful stories here. Where is the problem? Is the industry not forthcoming? Are the institutions not really capable of involving or engaging industry? So how do we ensure that the industry-academic partnerships are really fruitful and successful on ground? And what are your either any personal experiences with your university or anywhere else which you've heard of? And then I'll share something about our institution, please. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. First of all, I would like to tell that I'm a PhD in AI. So I'm a strong advocate of use of AI, because India is fearing about AI a lot. So we do AI summits, but our focus on AI stops with AI literacy alone. So we didn't go to the further levels of AI, to the consumer mindset, to builder mindset, which is where we need to work upon. I would like to connect the answer to the question that you've asked by telling something relevant to what other things that you've asked.
Sure.
The 3 important skills that are required in the age of AI, one is design thinking, communication, collaboration, which is primarily missing among the students, because they think like AI is the only way out for them, so that they try to ask everything and anything with AI alone. They need to believe in human skills more. In the age of AI, we should not compete with AI, rather we need to use human intelligence and use AI effectively to enhance the productivity. And the one thing that you asked also related to the skilling and micro-credentials, these are all the answers for the one that you asked, why industry and academia partnership is not working well. When you say micro-credentials, there are a lot of options for the students. They take those credentials on their own. So what is missing in academia that we found, and we have been putting it into practice for a while, is that the purpose alignment to the learning of the Gen Z. There was a survey that was taken recently among the about the Gen Z on what interests them the most. So whenever there is a purpose which they strongly believe in, that is the kind of things that they would like to do. They don't want to do anything and everything which is being told as a part of the curriculum or told by their teachers or somebody else alone. So what we need to focus upon is the purpose-driven education, whatever programs they have enrolled into. If there is a natural alignment of their passion into a particular domain of application, for example, healthcare, energy, education, transportation, doesn't matter. But the biggest drawback is Gen Zs are even not aware of what that purpose means, because the school education has not brought them that way, because it's more of the competitive mindset that is being created. So what we need to try focusing upon is the competitive to collaborative mindset, identifying the like-minded people who wants to work in a specific domain and solve problems towards that. From there on, whatever skills that you have to learn and earn should be aligned to that purpose, solving that purpose. Now when you asked about why industry-academia partnership is not becoming successful, it is more of demand and supply which was working so far. So industry has a demand and you are preparing the students and giving it to them. But now industries themselves are disrupted with AI. So they want people who foresee how their industry's trends are going to be in that particular domain. For that, the domain background is required for the students. That should be the natural, passionate, aligned domain for the students themselves. So if these are identified well in advance in the early stages of their study and the groups are formed, problems are identified, A is used as a slave, as Sir said, rather than as a master, then they would have raised to a maturity which helps the corporate to understand what more can be done beyond what they are currently doing. So that will strengthen the partnership with the industry in a much more better way, and it will also diversify the partnerships. Otherwise, one industry comes, tells that we want 500 students, you collaborate with us, drive these programs, get us the 500 students. It is not going to be the norm down the line. Rather, it is going to be on the aspects that they are working on. Gaming, I need a set of students. Entertainment, I need a set of students. Healthcare, I need a set of students. So being in a multidisciplinary university, it's time for us to prepare students in a team from diversified backgrounds which are naturally connected through their passionate alignment, and then make them to work and contribute from their program perspective so that they all work together and create an interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary team and develop solutions and products which attracts the industry, by which the industry can come forward and collaborate. This will help the technology readiness level of the products that we build from a lower level to a higher level, which can get incubated into startups and all. And last point, when it comes to AI training, there is a 4-stage approach, but we are doing only one stage, that is AI literacy. We keep subjects on AI for everyone. Thereafter, we don't focus much on AI, thinking that AI is only meant for certain students or engineering or certain other students. Rather, we need to have a 4-stage approach towards AI. One is AI literacy, second one is AI skilling, third one is AI proficiency, fourth one is AI excellence. Excellence is where you are applying AI to solve problems and productize it and make it as a solution which can help the industries to come forward and collaborate.
Great, thank you so much. It was very informative. So you know, just adding to what you said, so one more quality which I believe you missed out is emotional quotient. Yes, so that's again extremely important, and I think the universities and higher education institutions focus on that. And talking about industry engagement, I think the problem is that it's not industry integration. It is industry interaction with most of our universities. So we need to engage the industry well before the admissions are done for the students. And actually what we do is we invite them either for placements or for few guest lectures, summer training, and that's where the entire integration stops. So I think we very rightly pointed out, we need to understand that what are the job opportunities for our students, what do the industry want, and right before the admission process, we should involve them in curriculum planning, ensure that their representatives are part of the admission process, even during the interview stages, and ensure that it's a continuous 2-year, 4-year exercise for postgraduate and undergraduate degree programs, so that the students are actually ready right on day one. Okay, thank you so much, but it was very informative. And, you know, to I think the most senior gentleman on the left, the esteemed panelist, so my question to you is that, you know, all universities and higher education institutions just look at the placement statistics. They are very happy if 75% or 90% or 100% students are placed. But they really don't have a system or process in place where they are actually seeing the progress of their alumni 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years down the line. So what should be the focus of higher education institutions? Are we just happy in placing our students, or we should look at a process where the higher education institutions focus on lifelong learning and ensure that the growth of their alumni and students is measured for the next 5 to 10 years? And if that should be the case, do we have already any learning experience or process? Or, what is your suggestion? How do we achieve that?
Thank you. Very good afternoon to everyone, my co-panelists also. I think, first of all, I'm thankful for this opportunity to share this on very important topic. Your questions are also very relevant because presently, if we talk about higher education, there is entire change in to providing the education to our students and how they are going to be graduating. Because if we go back to some years, then generally the purpose of education institutions is to give the basic knowledge, where we call them as a degree-oriented education is given in what particular field a student is learning. Thereafter, the change is like that because now options are also there in our national education policy also. So we have changed to then from the degree oriented to the capability of the students. So the capability, how we building it is with the adding many types of skills to the students, in which all the technologies are also favoring for that, like you may have your degrees, not only one degree, there may be a top-up degrees, there may be a minor degrees, there may be a skill certification, as education policy also says, to give a multi-entry and multi-exit system. So institutions need to plan accordingly what type of skills required by the students when they are pursuing their first year of graduate studies, second year, third year, and there is need to alignment of all that. Ultimately, when they are passing out, they may be delivered with some minor degree also. It may be in artificial intelligence, it may be in many of the other fields, including data science or all other. But the basic about AI is must to learn for every student, and that will be provided to the institutions. You are talking about life learning. That is just because now the purpose is not only to look after the placement of your just graduating students. Surely, because when skilling everything is happen, they get placement. But to educate them how they will remain placed for lifelong. Like you talk about the review of your graduate students. So I think we have to learn at the higher education institutions to prepare them for their lifelong learning, change, adaptability to a change, because earlier, if we think about, everyone will restrict to the resist to the change. But when we learn our students, they have to learn the new technologies, they have to learn the use of that. They may have to unlearn whatever they are earlier, because you are, I can say, the job criteria, the serving system will change with the advancement of technology. So you have to unlearn and you have to relearn. If we learn our students all such, we can say, the qualities, all such technologies, and they will ready to any change and ready to relearn the things, then I think we are making our good graduating. That is one of the best option that we can say, what the universities, but the higher education institutions, to provide a learning to their students beyond the degrees. I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So we'll follow the same order. And now my question to you, sir, is that we are seeing now rapid growth in higher education institutions. We have been witnessing so many foreign universities coming in. And also there is, a lot of online now degree skill certificate courses available. So how do you think as an higher education institution, one is that, how do you manage this competition? Second, as an higher education institution, how would you evolve yourself to face this increasing competition and give more value to the students?
I agree with you because especially after the COVID, this online learning and all has really came out like a mushrooms. See, if you go go to the past, I think some of the students are there in COVID time. They not even have gone to the college also, but they got the degree because those 3 years were like that. If you go for any article or any reading, if you study, you'll find that in that those children, they don't have a knowledge. They are not able to do anything, and the outcome of this was 2.5% only. So I'll make it very clear. Online is not a threat for this higher education because offline classes are more important, even though UGC has allowed 40% you can have virtual classes like that. But the 60%, because once the student comes to the campus, not only what he or she learns, they learn competitive spirit, they learn society, they learn peer pressure, they learn everything. So now academics, if you ask me very frankly, any company, they are taking as a 50% only the criteria. Rest 50% is mostly how is the attitude, how is holistic, how good is a team worker. This all thing definitely it will come when you have a good atmosphere at the university level. That is one. Second, when you say about it that why these foreign universities are coming and all, and then no sir, I 100% agree. Even if you ask me very frankly, I visited so many universities in the Europe and America. Their systems are totally established. There you will find that they have 8 to 10 classes only. Rest of the time they are busy with assignments. The difference is, even though they don't have a classes, but students are available in the campus because they are completing the assignments. So what is there, sir? Mindset. Once if we change the mindset in our universities, you will find students are not bad. Only thing is you have to really shape them. Like a pencil, we have to sharpen them. Now most important what happens is, when the student gets a good knowledge, good attitude, and most important, communication skills and confidence level, no student will be anywhere failure in future. That is what universities, if they prepare, and if they really, definitely they do it such a way, then you ask one simple question that industry and education partnership, there is a gap. Yes, there is a gap in India. Reason is, we are not able to convince industry that whatever we want as an institution, we need you. But at the same time, you also need us. For tomorrow to run your industry or a business, you want a particular type of knowledge and everything which this university or higher education can give. That is why you will see, whether you take IBM or whether you take Wipro, they have come with education programs in collaboration because they want to prepare for their industry, the students. Sir, if we really pull them out, will they just make them? Because now industry doesn't have a time. They want the students should be totally prepared and come to the industry in the institute level itself. If you do it, and then the placement is not a doubt, if you get the placement, sir, then there is not a threat. If quality is there, you don't worry about it. You will definitely going to win. Because today also, Indian student, if you see in the world, is the best. Whether knowledge, whether whatever it is, they go for MS from here, they do top. They really absorb those universities. So I feel that our student is good if we put a lot of efforts in placement as well as most holistic development. I think we'll win, definitely.
Well, thank you. Good to see the positive and the optimism here. I think the only one challenge, or I would say dichotomy, is that the foreign universities have given a special privilege, and it's not a level playing field where they are allowed to charge any amount of fees, and most of the Indian universities are still under control by either the state government or other committees for their different fee structures we have. But I think that's not what we are here to discuss. And I'm very happy to see that, we have a Vice Chancellor of a state university, Central University. So, I believe that any forum is incomplete without discussing about the role of the government. Fortunately, under NEP, we have seen drastic changes. I personally believe it's one of the best things that has happened to the Indian education system, both school education and higher education. And I see a whole lot of flexibility under the NEP policy. We also have realized that, people can have 10 different multi-specializations. There's no more strict barrier between a commerce and engineering, technical or arts student. But as, a vice chancellor or a senior leader of a central university, what do you think should be the role of the government to encourage more innovation? And we are talking about technology adoption. How do you think the government can either support or can be a detriment to this? And as a leader of, Central University, what message would you like to share with our participants here?
Thank you very much for posing this question to me. It's a, NEP 2020, it has come up, and it is a wonderful, I will say, the document which has come up, and it's a few, about 60 pages document. So that means it provides a lot of flexibility in implementation. So whatever the guidelines even you have made today by the UGC or the school educations, that are all subject to, how we progress further. So that means, for example, we have in the higher education, we have put in the courses like value-added and capability enhancement courses and all these, skill enhancement courses we have put in, attached with the part of our programs. So we are trying to see that our students get not only the knowledge, but they are wise enough to use that knowledge. So that is done because I believe that the knowledge can come because of, what you learn for your examination, but there has to be, you not only learn for the examination, you have to learn for getting the skill as well as the capability of the employability. So that is where I see is the NEP is playing an important role. But there's implementation, and this is a very vast country. Everybody is not even able to understand fully the NEP. That because maybe I have given more than 200 lectures on NEP to our teachers, but even those teachers might have not understood what the actually NEP is. Because if I look at, the education has to be seen as a complete education, because when we starting from the, schooling itself, there we see that if we compare this education policy with the other country, then you will see that the other countries, the 12th standard students is capable of getting employment. That means even in the 11th class, he will be able to use your CNC machines, or he will be able to participate in competition, or what you look at, these, whatever your technology is able to do, that he is able to learn up to the 12th class. And for 3 days, he goes to school, and 2 days to the training center. We have in market so many coaching centers, but they have those all replaced by training centers. So that is where I see the education NEP is capable of doing that, right? So if I look at the NEP to take, shape, that will be the right approach when I say that we say that we have to really see that how we are able to examine our students, how to, how they are looking at their capability. So we have to really judge their capability, and not especially in the era of AI, when we look at, we are not able to see, we should not, judge the skill exam passing examination. We should see that what the capable are. So that can happen only when we introduce, for example, the vocational subject from 6th onward as by NEP, and then you see those students, only those students should be going to our technical courses or the medical courses, and rather than making them learn, for example, what they do in this present time, whether A is wrong, B, not only this A is right or B is right, they say D is wrong, C is wrong, B is wrong, that's why A is right. So that is the, the skilling our students have up to the 12th. So we have to see that our students getting after the 15 year of the education at the school levels, then come to the higher education, we have to really see that it all is joined with each other. So that means we have to carry out the skills they have obtained up to the 12th to the higher level. That means if a person is not able to build something, how we can make him a civil engineer, electrical engineer, electronic engineer, we should not. So that is the way I look at, the NEP can make the difference, but we have to really understand, and at the school level as well as the higher education level, not just by adding some small skills to the curriculum will not make this really NEP implemented, but we have to see that NEP is, I will say, is a wonderful document which has come up with all the flexibility, all for the learning, all for the students, all for the, I will say the country itself, because what the country wants, it is there in NEP, but we have to see that how all of education is, how we understand it, how we implement it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So since we are a little short on time, I'll be brief, and we are happy to have panelist whose PhD is related to AI, and he's an AI expert, I presume. So when we talk about AI, generally we teach 30 hours, 60 hours, maybe 2 or 3 different subjects of AI, rather than making a student proficient and use AI in his entire career. So what are your suggestions that how do higher education institutions not only just focus on teaching like Chat GPT professional versions of Claude and a few other programs or coding, but how do we ensure that they make AI as a habit and a lifelong learning tool for them rather than just focusing on few AI programs?
See, as I told you earlier, AI should be done in a phased manner: literacy, skilling, proficiency, and excellence. There are 2 things that we need to take up very seriously. One is making the students AI native and AI proof, right? So when I say AI native, this generation knows how to use AI to some extent, but that is not the end of it. That is the beginning of it. So whatever tools that we assume that is the one that needs to be taught in order to make them AI native is not the one that is going to make it complete. Everybody uses ChatGPT, some of them uses Claude. But unless you understand the purpose for which they have to use it, their usage will be very limited, right? They will be using only 2%, 3% of it. So rather, if you align them with the purpose of what problems they are planning to solve, accordingly you give the literacy in a common way to all of the students in the first year. The moment they go to the skilling part, the skilling can tell exactly what kind of AI skills the students should learn specific to solving that problem. It's not like one size fits all, particularly with respect to AI. AI came into existence only to break that one size fits all thing, right? So as teachers, forget about the students using AI. As teachers, how many of the teachers can tell that I'm using AI in day to day, not for preparing my notes or my PPTs? That is the way to use to enhance the productivity. But how am I using AI to understand my students? Has there been any experiment done by any of the teachers, any of the universities to use AI as a progression tool? A single teacher cannot understand 60 different students and their learning abilities. So AI as a progression tool is the least used in the country. Very few universities are working on the data that is getting generated from the students and using AI towards that to understand their students in a more better way, create personalized learning tracks for them, curate customized courses for them. So nowadays the augmented platforms like Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, all these things comes with AI integrated modules. They have even enabled a feature called AI Coach. The coach and the dialogue feature will help them to interact with the student. As an individual teacher, I cannot interact with all my 60 students at their own pace of learning. So when these things are contextualized into platforms like those, whatever the teacher cannot do in the timings on which they learn can be taken care by AI. So this is the way teachers can use AI. So if teacher also need to know how to use AI and align it towards their purpose to enhance their class outcomes, students should be understood on what purpose for which they should use AI. So this is where the purpose alignment plays a vital role. So first and foremost thing is to do a survey. In one of the university's experiences, we did a survey called a swab test. strength, weaknesses, aspirations, attitude and behavior test, which we took at the beginning of the entry of the students, and we understood what their aspirations are. And then we put AI into the task to understand what kind of learning tracks to be created to align with their aspirations. Then we identified the companies and the industries to collaborate with to give us the projects that needs to be done with the students. Now, one thing which is getting missed out completely is the faculty research. That is again going in one another direction which is not even aligning with students' interest or the corporate interest. So now we need to put them, all of them into a same line. As an institute, what your focus areas are. Like Niti Aayog says that these are the thematic areas on which India wants to improve. Let those thematic areas get aligned to your institute's focus areas. Then you identify your faculty research. Then you align it to the students' interest. Then put them together to learn things which are required to solve the problems into those areas. Then you bring the collaborators to show some concrete results. Unless you create an impact in the form of the product or solution that you create, corporates will not come anymore. I'm telling you, like down the line in another 2-3 years, the corporates that usually visits you will not come to your doorstep. If at all there comes somebody, they don't want big numbers, they want only 5-6 students who are exceptional. So what they look in those students is, how do they use AI, better put use of AI to solve the problems. It's not about the AI learning, it is about using AI to solve problems. That is most important. So we need to move away from the mindset of learning AI, because machines are learning. So humans should not learn about the machines again. So it's about using that to put things into practice, solve problems.
Wonderful. I guess that was very well explained, and very important point that I think the starting point is training faculty also how to, better use AI, how to use AI more effectively, and having a progressing track. I think very well explained. Which university?
So I'm representing SRM Sonipat as the Vice Chancellor of the university.
Okay, wonderful.
Outcome information to the students beyond A, B, C, D grades. That has been the significant limitation for most of our education process. Because we did not have a mining technology significantly till now to really we will end up giving grade A, B, C, D. But now what we all want is, we wanted to see how the student is progressively learning. Now we have a technology. Now AI can significantly contribute at this age, because NBA accreditation says that we wanted to use Bloom's taxonomy levels, and COPO attainments have to be done. And none of these things have any relevance to the students. Because actually many of the places where not even students does not even really know what is a PO12, doesn't even know what is a PO5, and does not even know how even the question paper they are putting it level 1, level 2, level 3 questions, the grades are not allocated to that level to the student. Eventually student really looks at all things as in this context. Unless we really don't really develop a systems on these things, progressively see, boss, you are actually able to perform an understanding level very good, but probably application or evaluating place you are missing it from the point of questions and other things. So that kind of a system, before doing it was very, very difficult. Now with AI and with the data analytics to some extent we can do it, and with AI you can also progressively predict it and then actually give some reasonable solutions to the students, and these are the systems that we really need to have it. Second thing, with respect to ChatGPT and other things.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt here.
Yeah,
is there a question or?
No, I think the question for Raghuvirji is that the systems should not be limited at this level but I think we should be building systems on these areas, and that would be the more fundamental things to really represent it. That was
Let me answer it, because I'm also a part of the system, so I know how we have diluted the systems in terms of outcome-based education, because outcome-based education has its own impact, but unless we understand it properly. But it's time to move from outcome-based education to competency-based education. So what mistake that we do is, we see outcomes as a set of questions which are mapped to it, and then we evaluate. As you rightly say, students doesn't mind about the individual questions marks, rather they see it as a subject mark, and overall when they get an A grade, they are satisfied, irrespective of certain parts of the questions that they could not answer, how they can improve it. That can have a long-term impact, particularly over the period of time. Those who are from the engineering background can understand it from the perspective of accreditations like NBA and ABET. So where it clearly tells how the design outcome, if you are continuously missing over the period of time, you can never become a full-fledged engineer because you are afraid of design and you are skipping it, but still you are getting the grades and clearing your subjects. But what we need to do here is that this is where AI plays a vital role. Out of the data that you generate through outcome-based education, you need to create systems to reinforce the students with the additional learning material wherever it is required, where they are not performing well. So that is where they can continuously improve. That is why I said like teachers cannot do it. Once they clear that particular subject, they will go to the next subject, next semester, offering next set of courses. So the student is left out in this completely. So we wanted a system, like for an example, I'm telling the existing platforms like Coursera. We still think of it like a course offering platform. But the AI features into that help you to curate additional learning content to the extent that until they clear understanding of that particular concept, they can be continuously reinforced with additional learning materials. And they will be assessed, right? That assessment need not be connected to your grades because students will not take it seriously. So we need to use AI that way.
Thank you.
Another question.
So we'll just have questions right after this. If that's okay, please go ahead. Go ahead.
In this age, especially if we talk about the engineering, engineering become the computer science, right? Many of the institutions, in an average, if you consider BTech means computer science engineering, and again there are some kind of SOS and Munich are also there. So that we have introduced BTech CSE with AI and BTech CSE with AI and ML kind of things are going on. In that scenario, when the core engineering is a little bit out of fashions and many universities are disturbing their well-established mechanical engineering and civil engineering labs as well. I would like to ask the question particularly to Chancellor sir from the Lingaya's Vidyapeeth. Sir, you are the person who always believed that the core engineering should be always retained. And how does this AI era is disrupting or helping you in maintaining the quality education in terms of especially the core engineering, sir?
See, AI is no doubt about it. AI has become a very important tool, especially as Dr. Saab just said. We also do, the moment the student enters, we do a SWOT analysis, so that, which is both useful for the student as well as for the faculty. To assess the student, to assess the faculty also to assess the student, and student also to know what exactly he or she wanted. That's why, like AI, very simply what we did is that in our system, we made all our courses half, means if suppose I have a BBA, that means it's a 6 semester, 3 semesters only we teach a proper theory and the basic of BBA. Rest 3 semesters, as Dr. Saval said, we take the students' interest, students, what exactly he want to do. That is called academic basket, where we have almost 100 courses. A student who is doing BBA can ask for a law course also, take as a major. Minor, he can take dance, music, literature, whatever.
So that is in the spirit of NEP, right?
Yes, that is it. Same thing like AI is definitely going to help us, because once we analyze the student and as well as the faculty will be able, it will give a feedback to the student also what to opt for it. What is my future and what is my interest? No doubt about it, this will give a direction to both faculty as well as AI. That is what.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just to update on both these questions. The first, this gentleman has asked. I think your question is relatively, first we have to define what outcome we need out of any subject, out of any kind of learning. That is the one process, how we evaluate our students for our normal learning, which we can say the degree oriented, as well as, but we are discussing here is apart from that, beyond degree, beyond our curriculum, but we need to provide, and again, for that also we have to define what outcome we want from our students. If we define that properly, then I think automatically we have to provide that learning accordingly, because here the question is not only to, because many of the panelists have also discussed, question is not only to give them a knowledge, but to learn them the applications of that knowledge, how they apply that knowledge. This is the purpose of the things, the scaling, the other things that we want to give, we want to learn the students. So for that, I think, as per his question also, the institutions, the universities, the higher education institutions, not only a place of learning, not only a place for graduate the students with the basic knowledge, but now the role of any higher education institution is to be a learning, to learn the student also to apply that knowledge, as well as to learn the students how they have to be adaptive to be the change, and how they will learn, how they will relearn, all the things. And it will also be a place of the innovations, how we promote innovations, because otherwise the technologies are there, but out of that technology, innovatively what we want to take out of that. Even the use of AI is not simply because, though basically we have to learn our faculty also, our students also, about the basic of AI. But apart from that, if they learn how to use that AI in a better way, how to use that AI ethically, how to put their questions to the AI so that you will get a right answer to that. So such type of training, such type of skilling, if we give to our students, then automatically they will graduate with lifelong learning skills, and they are not only as they placed after graduation, but they will continue their progress over there, because they have learned how they have to learn the new technologies, how they adapted to a change. So automatically their progress, then we are graduated them with a lifelong placements. I think this is the question for that.
Thank you so much. Now, keeping the timing on our mind, and we also have our panelist who just flew from Gujarat, and she was mentioning about the logistics issues which at times AI cannot resolve. So I welcome her, and also my question to you is that we've been discussing about AI, we've been discussing about how institutions are future ready, how institutions ensure that the learning is more outcome based rather than just pure examinations and credit based. We've been also discussing about how our graduates are not just ready for the first day job, but also for the lifelong learning, and also how do institutions measure. But since you were missing, I want your thoughts on all these ideas, that how we can integrate AI into our learning, how we can also ensure that our students are future ready, and how as leaders of academic institutions, how much do we need to adapt ourselves and ensure that the learning is more effective to our students.
Great. Looks like an whole essay. I'll try to cover everything. A very good afternoon. Very rightly, sir said that I was telling him the flight got delayed, something which AI cannot replace. However, I would start with AI. So it is inevitable. The first thing the institutes can do is, the most important part where they can shift is not only the curriculum, but the assessment. Every stage. So the students are definitely going to use AI, irrelevant, and let them. As faculties, we need to, or right from the president level where I hail, to the institutional level, to the faculties level, the most important is to integrate AI in the whole administrative processes. That could include from content LMSs to placement, from academia to collaboration. Now, everything can be AI integrated. When it comes to student and when you need to measure their credibility, we are not supposed to be dependent only on the credentials. That's where we make mistakes. We should develop a two-speed system, wherein the core is the fundamentals, what you've been doing through ages now, since ages. The core means the fundamentals, it's questioning, the ethical, logical reasoning, the vivas, and the defense. But what does the shell say? The shell should be the tools, the applications, the current practice, and the industry collaboration. Now that is tough, and that nobody is answering or questioning to, but that should be included, which should not be requiring any statutory approvals. It should be departmental levels. That should be the most important thing. I mean, bypass the regulations and give them the freedom to do that to the faculties. But answering his question that how to implement that, the most important thing which we are lacking in the whole education system is the incentives, the incentivization, which is very unheard of, something hidden but most important. How do we judge faculties as only the academia and the publications? But trust me, that's only important for NAC. We don't judge them, we don't incentivize them, how many industrial collaborations they are bringing, and you know what the next steps they are taking for the future vision. So I'll be giving you a very short example what my university, very well known as Asia's first AI-enabled campus since 2023, that's Gandhinagar University. We've also been known as pioneers to bring AI, but so we are the first-hand users. Everybody's talking about AI in 26, we have lived through it. So what we did is we were getting the biggest benefit of AI is it saves time. So the institute, at the institute level, the faculties have got a lot of time and the presidential, in fact, the whole administrative have got a lot of time. We are the first ones in 2026 to introduce the courses for Commonwealth. The whole time we are getting is because we have used AI in every administrative procedure. We were the first ones in 24 to get first and only IEEE blended syllabus. You all have IEEE membership, but we have blended syllabus right from IEEE. We're the first ones to introduce global syllabus using a whole lot of technology and not only AI. But then how do we judge students or how do we measure is, we have changed the whole assessment system here. Like I said, we have 2-speed assessment system. We have continuous evaluation system where 80% of their assessment goes towards logical, the creative thinking, the logical reasoning, the collaborative team support, and the most important, whether they go for internships, whether they go for apprenticeship, whether they are doing any of the assessment, we go for verbal defense only. We ask them questions. The biggest hit in my university is Failure Fest, which most of the universities have not implemented yet. We reward students who have failed at the most apt way. Basically, they have been questioned like anything. You can go and use OpenAI, like Open Book. We have OpenAI exam systems. You can use whatever technology you want to use. But if you don't know what you are doing, if you can't defend what you have achieved, then you are a biggest failure. So that's how we have been rewarding. So how they have used AI, how much they have done. If they have asked questions, we ask them a lot of questions. We have external juries doing that. And whether or not they have used AI, not used AI, how much they have used AI, has a particular audit system on papers. So this is what our university does. And I guess if that answers almost all questions, but I'll be happy to answer if there are more.
Oh, thank you so much. So we don't want to stand between you and lunch. Just we'll have 2 maximum questions, couple of questions, if anyone wants to ask anything from the audience. Okay, the organizer is saying no time for questions. Okay, so but still, since I've mentioned, if I see any hand, I would take the last question. Let's not leave any curious minds, unanswered on the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. That was great discourse about AI and use of AI. I'm from the student development sector. I'm a student welfare director. So what I have seen over the years is using a lot of AI and forgetting the basic values, forgetting the basic discipline, forgetting the basic kindnesses. We don't even understand how to talk in person because we are so engrossed in AI. So I would like to ask all the gentlemen sitting, and of course, Raghuveer sir, because you are a PhD in AI. So what is your say on this? How to protect the values which are so engraved in the roots of Indian culture? Students, they don't know how to talk to people. Basic communication is, deteriorating. As sir also mentioned that they don't even know how to write, how to talk to people because they're so engrossed in their mobile phones, busy using AI techniques. So what is your call on that?
She directed to me, so let me answer the first part.
Please.
See, the distraction of the students and as you say, like the cultural ethos and other things are missing, not because of AI. It is because of the mobile phone and social media and other things. See, how AI is fueling it, I'll tell you. Earlier, when you ask questions to Google, the answers that comes will make you to search among so many results by which you need to extract on your own, right? So that time at least you will call your friend and say that you see half of the results, I will see half of the results. Let us conclude and then discuss and then finalize something to be given. Now AI itself is acting like a friend and to support your answers by giving it directly to you in a condensed, composed manner. So as a result of that, the communication is getting blocked.
Yeah.
As ma'am was pointing out, verbal assessments are going to be the key in the days to come. So when you leave it on their own to do anything, to prepare and give you as an assignment, they would definitely use AI, but you do not know to what extent they have used AI. So in order to ensure that the human skills are upheld as a student welfare department, as you say, we need to create a lot of collaboration opportunities within the institute. Very few institutes are adopting flipped learning approach, right? You come to the classroom for the collaboration, teamwork, it's problem solving. If you do that, they will realize the human potential more than that of the AI. And another thing that I would like to suggest is that rather than telling them to work as a team and not tell anything about AI, you tell that in any teamwork, the fifth member should be AI. There should be 4 members in your team, the fifth one should be AI. Rather than individual questioning AI, if it is a collaborative questioning on AI, the results gets refined much better than individuals what they get as results. That way it enables the collaboration among themselves, and also they will be collectively using AI as a fun, so that they don't think that they are trying to cheat the teachers. Rather, we are encouraging them to use it in a most effective way. Like ma'am said, like open book test. You should be making the class open to use AI and do the assessment and assignments by using it. But the only thing is that the faculty should have the time to question the students, to understand, grill them and refine, to make them realize what humans can do beyond what AI is able to give you. Many a times they think like their task is done, so assignments are submitted, marks are obtained. But if that is done by AI, what the corporates will expect from these guys? So they need to understand that is where the evaluation should be changing completely. Faculty should understand what AI can do. But when we talk about AI restricting it from the use of students, many a times faculty do it in a different way, like dictatorship way. I can use AI, but you should not use AI. Rather, you challenge them. I am teaching something today. You use AI and challenge me. Has any faculty has done this inside the classroom? Because they know that they will get overwhelming questions. They can use it and ask you anything based on the topics that you taught. The same approach should initiate inside the classroom from the teacher's side and also from the student side. So you tell them to use AI, question left and right. It is more about understanding how human minds comprehend things. So that is where it is not about evaluating an individual, it is evaluating a team. So that is when teachers and students can co-work inside the classroom. Let me bring this topic today, I can explain this. Let us all search what kind of questions can come out of this. Then we will discuss and debate what more humans can do when the AI can do this much. This is what I can suggest.
Ma'am, if you can, because you were talking about not everything can be done by AI. So just poking your head into AI, learning more and more things, getting more and more information. But don't you think that if today we ask our students that, phone is lost somewhere and tire puncture ho gaya, will they be able to change the tire? Because they are not even, open for all these things. They're so engrossed in phones, using technology. So I just want to understand that, can we have a mix and match of both things?
Yes.
Yes,
I was about to answer in your previous question itself. Your question was two-directional. One was absolutely academic, the other was personal values. When it comes to academic, that's what I was saying, that we have done it.
Yes.
Initial years, you're supposed to behave AI restricted only. Where they learn the fundamentals. In the advanced stages, be completely AI integrated. When I say completely AI integrated, walking in, walking out, completely AI integrated. For the value system, ma'am, if the families are not giving them, then you have IKS to be introduced in the credit system. That's the only thing, because with AI, what happens is the worst thing and the best thing, the word which has 100 score is attitude. So that has changed with the generation. Ke mere ko sab aata hai. I know everything. Okay, no problem. Good that, see, the statistics say, जैसे आप mobile और tire puncture बोल रहे हैं, when it comes to academia, 65% of the departments are not at all relevant to AI. When it comes to nursing, psychology, lot many healthcare systems, they have only 5% usage of AI. A doctor can still have AI diagnosis, but what's important is he takes the accountability. So to teach them accountability, the students are supposed to take, let them also use AI, let teachers also explore AI. That's where sir was mentioning about the assessment system. The whole assessment system needs to be redesigned in such a way, the whole curriculum needs to be redesigned. See, everything is assessment. They go out to the society, people assess them. They go to the industry assess them. So why not we start at the university level? The system says, if you assess them through creativity, reasoning, collaborative team support, verbal defenses, the whole profile, basically the project profile is supposed to be assessed in such a way, you'll get a whole shift change. I guess I've been able to answer.
Yeah, but then again, we really need to have mix of hands-on experience as well as AI.
So just to conclude.
I would like to say something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And present time, you have to really make your campuses vibrant campuses. We really start from the yoga, 5 o'clock. We go to synthetic tracks. Then we have all the physical classes, physical activities. And then, we made compulsory AI as a course in every program, whether it is sociology, whether it is economics, English, Hindi. They have to learn AI full course, right? And so at the end, we also have the temple where they have to do this activities. So really, you have to make your campus, where you have this. We have a plan of 3 activities every day for the students. We have 5 auditorium, always book, right? So you have to see that your students are always engaged. And every department has to go at educational tour. 5 days, 6 day tour. So all these being happening. So when you say it's happening, then we see that our students will understand what to do. They will have the good communication. They have the skill. They have the other skill. What you're talking about, tire puncture हो गया, तो वो all सब जब करेंगे तो सब आ जाएगा.
Thank you so much, sir.
And yeah, talking about personal values, just to add, we've been conducting Art of Living courses in our institution. They worked really well. Sadhguru has some wonderful short-term programs. They've been doing very well in this field. And I guess it's a lot to do with your family and right in your childhood, because you don't expect a student who's kind of gone through some other experience for the last 17, 18 years and suddenly with few hours of formal coaching, you can change his entire value system. It's absolutely impossible. So I think taking into account, that's what I mentioned right at the beginning, emotional quotient, emotional thinking, emotional intelligence is something which AI can never replace. And we should really, focus equally on these, values as well. So I'm sorry, just because of the positive time, I'd like to conclude it here. And thanks each one of you for a wonderful discussion. Your views were really, I'm sure, invaluable to our audience. And just to highlight, my personal experience, which I wanted to share with the entire audience. So I represent Jim's group of institutions. And talking about industry engagement, we tied up with Grant Thornton 4 years ago. And this was the first example, I think, in the, at least, Indian education system, where a company committed 60 assured jobs at an average salary of 12 lakh rupees. Right from day one, they were involved in the admission process, they were involved in the curriculum, and then their senior partners taught at least for 200 hours in the entire 2-year PGTM program. And this has been extremely wonderfully received. So I think these are some kind of, why I'm mentioning today here is that, these are some kind of initiatives which would inspire other institutions, organizations, industry. And we've been always seeing a lot of limitations, where either the institutions are not really committing anything which is, of some great value, or the industries are not coming forward. So let's hope that together we strive and, have more collaborations like these. And also, one thing which I need to mention is that all of us are responsible, like, the PM talks about Viksit Bharat 2047. We've been talking about what is going to happen in 2030. But together, higher education leaders would be training maybe few lakh students, and maybe on the dais only we people are responsible for around 50,000 to 1 lakh students perhaps. So we have a lot of responsibilities, and most important is we need to change our own thought process, our own value systems, and ensure that learning is the topmost priority. And rest, I think we've already discussed. So thanks once again, each one of you, and hope you people had some, few suggestions which you can use later on. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to all our panelists. I would request Kumar, Chandan, Anand sir to please come on the stage and felicitate our fantastic panelists over here. Can we have a huge round of applause for all our panelists? Dr. Amit Gupta, Chairman of Jagannath International Management School, New Delhi. He was the session moderator for the session. Can we have a huge round of applause on every honor? Next we have Dr. Picheswar Gadde, Chancellor of Lingaya's Vidyapeeth, Faridabad. We can have a huge round of applause. I can see that. Can we have a huge round of applause, everyone? Next we have Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, Vice Chancellor of Central University of Haryana. Going forward with Vinita Rohera, Managing Trustee of Gandhinagar University. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out your time and joining us today. Next we have Dr. Anshu Kataria, Chairman of Aryan's Group of Colleges. Okay. Next, Professor V.R. Raghuvir, he is the Vice Chancellor of SRM University, Delhi NCR. We can have a huge round of applause, right? Thank you so much to all our panelists for joining us today. At the end, we have Professor Bhuta Singh Sidhu, Vice Chancellor of Shobit University, Gangot. We can have a huge round of applause, right, for all our participants for this amazing panel discussion.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gadde.